Hey everybody, my name is Jason Watkins. I am the CEO of Advanced Lifestyle Digital Marketing Company. Was approached about a month ago by a good friend of mine, and they've been doing some work. He's been doing some work with a pretty special group of people. They're all alumnus from Prairie View A&M University, historically black college. They're all alumnus. They all played sports there, and or were fraternity, sorority members there. But it's Phyllis and the Fellas. And, they approached me about building a website, and I asked them what it was about, and come to find out it was about a sports figure that had played at Prairie View before their time there, obviously. But his name is Otis Taylor. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs, came into the league. He actually came into the AFL starting off with the Chiefs, and in '65, which was before the merger, about a year before the merger started. But he had a chance to. He got drafted by the Eagles. Was later the Cow. There's a great story about that we plan to tell about how the Cowboys were trying to get him there in Dallas, and he got kind of snuck out of a room and taken up to Kansas City and signed. He went on to play 11 years there and was just fabulous. I mean, this guy, it's a shame that most people don't know him. If you're watching this, you probably do, because you're from Kansas City, or you went to school at Prairie View, or somewhere in Texas, and you know who he is. He's from Houston area. Otis Taylor was the guy's guy, the man's man. When it came to receivers, there really hasn't been anything like him in a long time. Aside from myself, just from what I've watched of him, I got to say that he's, his generation's Jerry Rice, his generation's Terrell Owens, Megatron type, 6'3", 215 pounds, ran a 4.5, 4.4 40, and had moves. I mean, the guy could dance in a freaking phone booth, and out on the field, go up against any ball, pull it down with one hand, people hanging on him. It's superhuman kind of stuff. And this is a guy we're talking about that played mid 60s to mid 70s. At a time they weren't throwing the ball a whole lot. Played in Super Bowl I. Of course, they lost to Green Bay in that one. But then in Super Bowl IV, they're back in it against a team that nobody expects them to win. And Otis dominates. Otis and the Chiefs dominate. They end up winning it by 2 touchdowns. He scores a 46-yard touchdown on a hitch play, 5-yard hitch. Lynn Dawson says it was the only pass they were going to get off with the blitz that was coming at him. And he makes it look easy. He burns 2 guys on the way to the end zone, breaks a tackle. It's the iconic play in Chiefs history, leading up to their last Super Bowl with the newer group of guys now. But I got to tell you, this guy is unbelievable, and they're telling me that they're trying to get him into the Hall of Fame. This is Phyllis and the Fellas. He's been trying to get into with his retirement in 1975. That made him eligible in 1980 for the Hall of Fame. He went through his 5 years of voting there, never made a finalist. Here we are, 37 years later, and this man is still not in the game. Now, I'm going to tell you that the reason that I am very passionate about this, I have been studying and watching and studying, and this dude is my hero. If you watch this guy play, he played with just raw passion, speed, agility. Just there was a guy on 100 yards football, and he said he puts it's like gravy on the potatoes. And man, I don't really know what that means, but I tell you what, it sounds good enough to me. The guy is insane. The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame, I just didn't understand it until I started looking at it, and you start hearing a lot of the things. All these guys had a hard time getting in. Everybody on that team. And even the coach, He goes to two of the first four Super Bowls, wins one, and it takes him until, he's pretty much, he wasn't even able to really say his own speech. He had to record it prior to, Enshrined. That's ridiculous of it. But here we are. Literally, Otis was the best receiver in the game at the time, and he doesn't get in. He doesn't get in. Again, we're talking about a guy who his second year in the league, he goes for over 1,300 yards receiving, leads the league in touchdown catches that year, goes on to be an all-pro first team for the first time as a second-year player, and just continues to get better. This is the year that they go to the Super Bowl one. He's the most explosive player in football, and because there's this ridiculous narrative that's going out there about the AFL not being able to compete with the NFL, he's not getting his fair due. And not only that, once they get to the point where they intermix the leagues, where, first off, he plays in another Super Bowl in 1969 against a team that everybody's calling one of the greatest teams of all time in the Minnesota Vikings, and he smokes them. He has 80 yards in the game, the long touchdown, 42 yards, and I mean, it's just an insane touchdown. In fact, I'm going to show it to you here in just a second, but, guys, this is the most explosive player in the game. You've got guys like, 8-time Pro Bowlers that said he was basically uncoverable. An 8-time Pro Bowler and Lamar Parrish from the Cincinnati Bengals, he says you couldn't guard him. He was big, he was fast, he was strong, and there was nothing you could do to stop him. All you had to do was make a mistake and he's going to the house. Or you had to double team him and hang two guys off of him. That was really the only way to stop Otis Taylor. And yet all these years, he's not in the Hall of Fame. 37 years later. Okay? Well, Phyllis and the fellas decided that that's enough, and they've got me on board with it. I know it's enough. I'm a former sports writer of 10 years. This is right up my alley of work. I now own this marketing company. It's what we do. We are going to rattle every cage until we get this man in the Hall of Fame. Otis is very sick right now. And to be honest with you, if he was to make it to induction, it would be surprising to me. And that's a sad, sad thing, in his book, The Need to Win, he talks about how important the Hall of Fame would be to him, for his family, for him, just to kind of validate everything that he did in his life. He worked so hard at the game. You hear Lynn Dawson talking about it. I mean, everybody that played against him. And this is a man that, as much as he hated the Chiefs, Al Davis loved Otis Taylor. Al Davis hates the Chiefs. And in fact, the feud between the Chiefs and Raiders goes back to Otis Taylor protecting his quarterback and starting a big brawl during a game. Listen, this is a long story. Don't worry, we've got time to tell it, and we're going to tell it. Okay? Bottom line is, this is the place to be right now. What we're about to do is we're launching a campaign on a lot of fronts, folks. We are going to get Otis Taylor into the Hall of Fame if it pisses off everybody, and I don't care. Because I got to tell you, it's absolutely ridiculous that he hadn't been put in anymore. And from what I can tell, this has nothing to do with ability. It has nothing to do with anything other than the 60-year-old bullcrap grudge and bias against the American Football League, which really came down to a racial bias, because most of the players, or that's where the greatest majority of black players were able to play. HBCU players like Otis Taylor. These are guys that, Lamar Parrish, for instance, 8-time Pro Bowler, all-pro player, cornerback. He's not in the Hall of Fame either. Okay? What? These guys, it took Belt himself. I mean, they had the nastiest defense in football for probably a good 6 or 7 years, the Chiefs did. And none of those guys were getting in because they were all AFL guys. Now, not for nothing, but after the Packers won the first two, the AFL won the next two with the Jets and Kansas City. Then Dallas comes back and wins one. Then you have the Dolphins end up winning two. It goes 4-4 in the first 8, 2-2 in the first 4. Now, tell me how it is that you're going to tell me that the AFL can't compete with the NFL. This is a theory that should have been debunked after the first 4. If Darren guaranteed after the first 8, they should have known. And they really should have known when Otis destroyed the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl 4. Went on to have an MVP caliber season in 1971. He was MVP, voted MVP by the UPI, United Press International. Second in the AP voting for MVP as well, which he was tied with Roger Staubach for second in AP voting. Now, this has never happened before. Okay, it's only happened once since 1987. Jerry Rice. Pro Football Writers name him MVP. AP names him second place behind John Elway. It's never come close to happening again by anyone. There's been 2 men that have done it. One's in the Hall of Fame and is clearly the greatest of all time. The other one might have been, had he have played in an era where the ball's thrown around just a little bit more, and he not had this ridiculous bias hanging over his head about the AFL. Folks, we're going to get into this. We are going to get into this, and this is real to us as it possibly can be. One of the things that we're doing is we are sponsoring a letter writing campaign for the Hall of Fame. You cannot send the Hall of Fame emails. The only way to nominate somebody for the Hall is to send letters. So we are going to provide that for all of our followers here on this channel. Every channel that we are, that we're on, you're going to be able to go find us, get email from us, all of our content. We want to build this into something momentum wise to stop this ridiculousness. He should have been in first ballot Hall of Fame. If you hear a lot of these guys talk, that are Hall of Famers. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the other receivers in that era didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, because they did. But if they do, then so did he. There's just no two ways around it. Otis Taylor for the Hall of Fame. It's go.otistaylor4hof.com. That's going to take you to our website. It's going to first take you to a sign up page to get our email, so that we can keep you up to date on all of it. We are going to have an awful lot of content, folks, in an awful lot of different places. The one place that we know for sure that we can keep you up to date on everything is through your email. You won't miss a thing. And we need you all. We need you all to get involved in this. Like I said, we're gonna do the best we can. We are gonna find a way to get Otis Taylor into the Hall of Fame, because it's a travesty that he's not in. And we need the fans to get behind this. I know you Chiefs fans are there. I know you HBCU fans, but it's a damn shame if his wife and his son aren't gonna know that he made it to the Hall of Fame just like he said he should, and everybody said he should. I think that would be a great sense of pride for them. And for nothing else, I think it's a great sense of pride for the city of Kansas City. I think it's a great sense of pride for Houston. I think it's a great sense of pride for Prairie View. I think it's a great sense of pride for HBCUs and for some of these guys that we need to help along the way after this. This is just the start, but this is going to be a start big. Guys, do me a favor. Grab your phone. Give me, you Otis Taylor fans, give me 15 seconds of why. 'Why? 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 ' Post it to whatever account that you enjoy us on the most, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Give us 15 seconds to up to 2 minutes at most. Try to keep it short and sweet, but give him some love and let the Hall of Fame know that we're not taking this oversight anymore, because it's not oversight. Okay? This is a blatant disregard for what he did in the league, and it's damn ridiculous at this point. And I want them to know that we all know that. The numbers game isn't going to work anymore. There's too many guys in with numbers that are equal or lesser than Otis Taylor's. There's too many. So that game isn't working anymore. Tell them that. We need to get these letters out. Go on, buy the letter for yourself. We'll get your name on it. We will get it to the Hall of Fame. We want to flood them with 100,000 plus just in the next month letters. We know we can do this with your help. Okay? We know we can do this with your help. But it is going to take all of us to do it, because for 37 years they found a way to keep him out. Damn it, it's time for him to go in. Thank you guys for very much. Go ahead and sign up, now below there. The email list is very important. That's where you're going to get all the content, and there's going to be a lot of it coming, guys. I'm super excited about what we're doing here. Couldn't be more excited to be a part of this group of people working hard towards this. There's fans that are already getting involved. Weird Wolf, we love you, man. You're doing a great job for us. He's the one that built this graphic here. Fabulous graphic artist this guy is. We really appreciate it. Great fan of the Chiefs. Great fan of Otis Taylor. You're going to get some more stories from some fans of Otis Taylor's that, they're super fans. They're guys that absolutely love the guy. We got a guy that even made a replica statue of the one-handed catch against Washington. This is real. And you know what? It's unbelievably great. I'm excited about this, and we got work to do before June to get him into the finalist field. Let's get it done, okay? Keep up with us. Sign up below. Let's have a great time, and let's get Otis in, okay? Thanks, guys.